but Bowes kicking out at the last possible second, and you know. Oh my God.
Look, all kidding aside, that man is wearing a mask of skin in a high school. Who let him in here?
And an apron and boots covered in some kind of red substance. And even though Bowes is one of the most dominant forces in the UWA Elite, he has not been able to find his footing this year.
Speaking of finding his footing, this man's career is all set to take off. A win tonight will put the Dragon Slayer back into the sky as Drake Chambers takes flight. Drake Chambers gets a hero's welcome against the villainous and wretched Bowes. And this one has gotten personal in a hurry from two men who have very, very little history with one another. This thing, as they say in the biz, has gotten real quick. So is it redemption for Bowes, or is it a streak of 2 victories as impressive as any 2 this year for Drake Chambers? The winner, I would argue, Eric Corvus, puts himself right in the main event conversation, and the loser, God knows where the loser ends up.
What's frightening me right now, and as a man who shared the ring with Bowes on countless occasions all last year, look at the look in his eyes. Just going right in.
Oh! One of those 4. This thing may not be over. This may be over before it starts.
I mean, you know that Bowes had to have been chomping at the bit ever since the referee's hand
look at that!
Counted that 3 count.
Ducks the line. Big pump drop kick sends the Wretched to the outside. And that's why, fans, we say please keep your children away from ringside. We don't want to see anybody get hurt. Bowes catches Chambers coming in. Look at the big red welt already on the back of Drake Chambers. Oh, look at that. That is Wretched.
He is just dangling. You could feel it. You could feel the impact of those forearms.
And referee Austin Mitchell always seems to have the unenviable task of trying to control and contain the wretched that is Bowes.
It's not, as commentators, as journalists, you want to be able to interview the wrestlers or talk to the wrestlers, see what they're thinking. Bowes is not one of those individuals. But you know damn well that all he's been thinking about since the referee's hand counted 3 after that Dragon Slayer on All Access, that this is all that he's been thinking about. Not just defeating Drake Chambers, not just getting that victory back, but picking him apart, just punishing him.
And on that note, Drake Chambers has more than one thing to be thinking about right now. Sure, a rematch with one of the most dangerous men in the history of this company, but also in his debut at Living on the Edge, Chris Steeler chose Drake Chambers as his first target. So is Drake Chambers going to be looking over his shoulder
or under the ring?
And Chambers slides under, but Bowes, just mauling Chambers here. My goodness. And I'll tell you what the downfall for me was in rewatching Bowes Chambers Part 1 on All Access before Living on the Edge. Bowes is wretched.
Bowes is maniacal. Sometimes Bowes is like a big animal who likes to play with his food or his victim or his prey before he eats it. And I felt like for a while he was just playing with what he thought was the dead and gone carcass of Drake Chambers, and Chambers would not die. You see a much more deliberate, a much more focused Bowes here at Homecoming. He's not playing around this time.
No, he's not going to. Listen, he took it for granted. We can agree on that. But Drake Chambers, since he's returned after his little hiatus with this new attitude, this new look, it's going to take a lot to keep him down. The guy had one of the biggest hearts in UWA Elite before. And to walk away with a victory, a clean victory over a man like Bowes, could skyrocket you to the top of the ladder here in UWA Elite, let alone doing it 2 times in a row.
Absolutely. If you think the only loss Drake Chambers has suffered since his re-debut and his reset button, if you will. Oh, God, what a huge backbreaker. It's just devastating. I know you felt it. Goes into the cover. But like I was saying, the only loss Chambers has suffered since his refresh, Anthony Gangone had both feet on the ropes. It was clearly an act of cheating. It was clearly a tainted win. And all Chambers has done besides that is rack up victories and momentum. Clean as a whistle. But we've seen Chambers not be a villainous person, not be an evil person.
More
angrier.
I feel he...
And there, when you look at that, every time Bowes screams, it is like he is putting fuel back in Drake Chambers' tank.
I feel that Drake Chambers is just, it's not anger, it's passion.
Look at
it's
this fire! This fire from Drake Chambers! When he is moving, he is straight poetry, Eric Corbin.
1, 2!
No one is more fluid than the Dragonborn, Drake Chambers, and he looks good.
Like I was saying before, Colin, it's focus, it's passion, it's not anger. He knows what his goals are, and he's trying to achieve it, and it seems as Bowes is the one standing in his way. Oh no! Nope, go.
Chambers tried Karada, and now Bowes looking for a stretch muffler. I don't know if he's got it.
Oh, how many people have we seen tap out to this stretch muffler, Colin?
Can I answer that question for you? Pretty much all of them.
Every single one of them.
Oh, jeez.
He's trying to get the crowd behind him. You need that adrenaline, just knowing that the fans are behind you, and he's utilizing it right now as he's dragging himself to the rope.
But how much damage can Drake Chambers do without his dominant plant leg at 100%? I mean, does it take the Dragon Slayer off the table? Does it take the standing shooting star off
Springboard
the table?
kick?
Absolutely. No one ever accused Bowes of not being sadistic, but more people should give him credit for being a thinking man's wrestler when it really comes down to strategy.
Listen, we know his medical background. This man was a doctor for over a decade. He knows the musculoskeletal system better than anyone else in our locker room. Just because he doesn't practice medicine anymore doesn't mean he doesn't still have that knowledge.
Look at what he's doing. That is despicable.
He's having a good time. He's enjoying himself.
It looks like a guy who was just eyeing up the steak that was put on his table.
Yeah, well, he eyed it up for a little bit too long as he just met that steel post.
Drake Chambers now might be going all or nothing. If he hits it, it's over. If he doesn't,
he got him!
But he just got him.
You can see the weakness in his leg. He didn't get the full height that Drake Chambers is used to, but he still connected enough to take Bowes off of his feet.
That's very true. He also didn't have the time to plant properly. Bowes was already beginning to move to his right. If Chambers had waited just another half a second, he would have missed Bowes completely. So he struck while the iron was hot. He didn't get everything, but he got just enough to change the game here in Homecoming.
I feel like Drake Chambers might be one of the most emotionally torn individuals in the UWA right now. He came back after his hiatus, only met with a loss from Gangon.
And a tainted one.
Gets back on his feet, defeats Bowes, only to be attacked by Chris Steeler. All of this while he still has that I-Championship rematch looming. There is so much on his plate, so much going on in his head, and the fact that he's able to concentrate and take it to a man like Bowes, with all of that going on, is just a credit to him as a human being.
I couldn't agree with you more. And you gotta wonder, as you see that passion start to streak and color the face of Drake Chambers, going shot for shot, forearm for forearm with Bowes until now. And now Chambers whipped off the ropes, up and going for a tornado DDT, and he hits it. Big moment for Drake Chambers. And I gotta ask you, Eric Corbus, why does Drake Chambers, much like you during your wrestling career, maybe you can shed some light on this, as Chambers finally crawls into a cover and Bowes gets to the ropes. Why do so many people target Drake Chambers? Why do so many people put a bullseye on Drake Chambers' back? What is it about him?
I don't feel that he's a target by any means. I feel that Drake Chambers is the definition of what these fans look for in a superstar. So you want to be able to compete against somebody like that, because if you can take him out, that means the world for your career.
Oh, Bowes is up. Chambers has not looked up. He doesn't know it. Oh, now he does.
He wasn't able to get up as quickly as he normally does. You could see the effects of that stretch muffler still taking effect on him.
Oh, boy. And here's Bowes. Like we said back when...
Those liver shots, those liver punches. Ooh.
Oh, when Dillinger stepped up to meet Tech. Oh, and a headbutt. And Bowes is down, and it almost took Austin Mitchell off his feet.
He needs to get his foot up there. He needs to get his footing and hit that Dragon Slayer.
Again, all or nothing. The Dragonborn takes flight.
And he gets him. He nails
it. It is...
Cover.
It's a certifiable fact. This is over.
Oh!
Oh my God.
He actually kicked out of it this time, Colin.
No one has ever done what we just saw done. Look at Drake Chambers. He's beside himself.
Well, like you said, nobody has ever kicked out of a Dragon Slayer before.
Is one of those things that was an absolute. It is 100% certainty that you kick out, that nobody kicks out. And yet Bowes is on his feet.
Oh, and he hits the eulogy. He hits the eulogy. That is it.
Another 100%er. Bowes has avenged his loss. 2 and 3.
What?
Oh my God.
Have you ever seen a face of shock like the one on Bowes' face right now?
Yeah, 20 seconds ago when Bowes kicked out of the Dragon Slayer.
Oh, no.
And now what? Oh my God. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what Bowes is doing, but this is not a no disqualification match.
No, it isn't.
Grudge match does not mean no DQ, and it certainly does not mean steel chairs. Oh my God.
And a kendo stick.
Why
Bowes is fed up. Bowes is sick and tired of this.
Why do you need both? And Austin Mitchell has at least absolved the ring of the kendo stick, but Bowes still has that chair.
Here he goes.
Wait. Chambers. Oh my God. Right to the face. Bowes is already half up. Curb stomp.
Oh, the chair.
Curb stomp on the chair. Where is referee Austin Mitchell? He's back in. Is it enough?
1, 2, 3.
Yes, it is. What a finish and what a win. Drake Chambers does it again. Well, it wasn't squeaky clean, but I would argue it's more impressive than the first.
Bowes let his frustration and anger get the better of him, leaving the ring, bringing in those weapons. It didn't even seem like he cared about winning anymore. He was angry, and he was looking to put Drake Chambers down.
But Bowes, Give credit where credit is due to the Wretched. That's how much it takes to put away a monster like Bowes. And Bowes is already up. But tonight, once again, belongs to the Dragonborn as Drake Chambers